Hey, I don't wear a seatbelt because I trust my driving, all right? I'm trying a different angle here for a video. Been trying to find different and creative ways to put content out there for those of you interested in my grammar channel and my Coral Blade Grotto channel. Just trying to find different angles, different things to do to keep people interested in learning this grammar. I know there are actually very few people who really want to learn this grammar. Not serious about it, not willing to put forth the effort needed or required to learn it. Because everybody thinks it should be easy and free, which it's not. Now, when people hear the word free, they start thinking in certain terms. By free, it doesn't necessarily mean a monetary value. It could take an investment of now space, i.e. time. It could be an investment of something else, of effort, sweat equity, concentration. Any of these things. Doesn't necessarily have to be this. But it's not free. And some people just, shut off when they hear that. They're willing to pay out their ass for mortgages, for attorney's fees, restaurants, car insurance, you name it. They're willing to just throw money at that stuff. But when it comes to learning something like this, which can help them in their life to maintain a position of fact and autonomy and to become a steward of those other contracts that I mentioned, they think it should be free. They don't want to put anything towards it, any effort or anything like that. No, everything should be free. And that's why they won't learn it. And that's why very few people actually learn this stuff. Very, very few. 1% of 1% of 1%. But I will say that this year is my best year. It has been my best year for teaching this grammar. For sure. Got some really good students. Let me think right now, in the now space, how many great students I have or have had. Let me think of how many students have actually acquired or assimilated, achieved a level of closure on the grammar that would enable them to continue without my help, okay? That level of closure, we're talking 95, 98, 99% there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 people. Almost. Pretty close. In the last 365 days. That's a pretty damn good number as far as I'm concerned. It really is. As far as this stuff goes. People having a level of closure not only on the grammar mechanics, but the psychology behind what it takes to use it and how we use it successfully. Now we're talking about the grammar and the psychology of the grammar. I'm not talking about document preparation and things like that. However, these people, these students that I'm talking about and referring to, have the tools that if they want to, they can create whatever they want and probably be successful with it. So that's the good news, right? So ideally, what would happen next is that those people that I've helped to achieve that level of closure on the grammar, if those people would then teach others in their circles who are interested in the grammar, then it would spread exponentially. Now, this is not something that I feel is ever going to go mainstream. I've said this again and again and again and again and again. And for me, it's just common sense. I've had this YouTube channel for 5 years, sharing my correct sentence structure, communication, PARSE, syntax, grammar, knowledge with the earth, with everybody who wants to learn it, who's serious about it. It would seem, from my first-hand knowledge, that most people who are interested in this grammar prefer to participate with Fantasyland, what I will call Fantasyland conspiracy theories. And they would rather give authority up or submit to someone they feel has some sort of power or command or leadership capacity. Not capacity, but leadership position. It doesn't matter what title you put on it. There's just some people who the authoritarian follower syndrome is embedded in them. It's such a part of them that they go right from the authoritarian system of the fiction system right over into the authoritarian system of, Russell J. Gould's system or Mark Rashon Christopher's system. And that's fine. The majority of people, those channels have way more subscribers than I do. Way more. I'm just a little blip on the big radar. But it's a very powerful blip. Because as I shared with you, this has been the most successful year for me in teaching. Not only because I just get better and better and better at teaching it. The more I teach, of course, the more you do something, the more you're going to get better at it. And the more I use correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, the better I get at writing it, at syntaxing. The less and less I have to look at an etymology dictionary to find out whether a word is tangible contract or non-tangible contract, because I just remember it. And it's just a process of doing it every single day and not just flailing around aimlessly thinking that someday it's just going to magically click in my head that I'm going to understand it. No, that's not the way it works. You have to put forth a concerted effort, a concentrated effort to learn it. You have to put in the hours every single damn day. And you also, 9.9 times out of 10, must have a tutor that is willing to stand with you and take you to those depths that you cannot go to by yourself. Someone you trust as a guide who knows that when you reach perhaps a depth that you're not comfortable with, can bring you back up a little bit to let you catch your breath and then go back down again. Someone that has the capacity to understand that. And also someone that can answer a question. I can't count the number of students that I've had that come from Russell J. Gould's side of things for example, who talk about Russell's teachers as being very mean-spirited and they get angry. I had a guy tell me, I had a student tell me that they actually had a tutor come to their house and they had to kick the tutor out of the house because the tutor was getting belligerent and angry at them because they asked for closure. They asked a question and they wanted closure on it, and the teacher got angry because they couldn't answer the question. That's what happens when people get put on the spot and they don't have the knowledge. They don't know what they're doing. They get afraid or they get angry or both. And then they usually try and turn it around on the student. And then there's the flip side of the coin, the Marcus Shum Christopher side, which they are two sides of the same fiction coin, with my knowledge. And I get people coming from his end who have no idea how to use the grammar. I think out of the past 5 years, I've only ran into one individual who had any clue about how to syntax or create a correct sentence structure with correct positional sequencing. One individual. And I'm pretty sure Mark has way more subscribers than Russell does. So, the people that come from Mark's side, they have no idea. They're like basic beginners. They're lost in some la-la land of fantasy about, well, isn't this a corporation? You know, they'll say things like that, or I don't know. They use a strange type of language that if you watch Mark's videos, you will definitely run into that language. Well, this is my, I guess, little vlog thing. I'm going to cobble it together and maybe we'll call it, let's see, what can we call this? We could call it the, not an update, but it's some sort of update on news on how the teaching's going. People might be curious about how many successful students there are. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to contact those students that I just mentioned, like not quite a dozen, but almost a dozen. I'm going to contact each one of them, and I'm going to ask for their consent to use their correct names, to list them as individuals that I certify have a rudimentary closure on the grammar, enough so that they can use it on their own and they don't even need to come to me anymore. I'm going to do that. And then hopefully publish it if I get enough of them to consent to it. Because some of them are very private people. But they're all good people. And I have trust counts with all of them. So until next time, remember, authority comes from knowledge and the skill to convey that knowledge to another contract party. If you're interested in workshops, contact me at jasonmatthewg17@gmail.com and you can apply for a workshop.